What's up, XRP brothers from another mother and my cute XRP sisters? This is Rob with the Rob007 channel coming to you from a beautiful, spectacular Venice Island. Absolutely flawless weather down at the beach, 5 out of 5. Title of this episode is XRP could go all the way and hit $90 within days. Watch this episode to the end. We'll play out that scenario, which just sounds like pretty exciting to me. So anyway, in a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Got that out of the way. And also, thank you as always. As we are now over 8,000 subs. Looking at 9,000 subscribers next run. Going to try to hit 10,000 by the end of the year. Gives us only about 37 days to do it. Who's counting? But indeed, if you are new to this channel, if you would, hit the subscribe button to subscribe, the bell for notifications, that like button, tap it, slap it, whatever you are feeling for Taco Tuesday. And if you do Twitter, follow me at XRP007 on Twitter. Love my XRP Twitter family. And don't forget about the fine folks the sponsors of this channel, the fine folks at iTrustCapital. Absolutely love them. One of my top 3 places to custody my XRP that I can sleep good at night because they have 0 fees for custody, 1% on fees for trading. Unbelievable. Who does that, right? And then they're actually going to have an ROI on your XRP. That is so exciting. And when you sign up, you get $100 for a signing bonus. And also, it's right up in that list are the fine folks at Caleb and Brown. Love them. They're expanding, growing by leaps and bounds here in the United States with an office in Fort Lauderdale. Going to open up one on the West Coast as well. Again, 0 custody fees. You can have a personal broker. And then the biggest reason for me is when we hit the banana zone, which it could happen any day when you least expect it, I'll be able to get my sell orders in. And yes, I do have those in. Links in the description. Tell them Rob sent you. And also cracking my other favorite exchange as regular exchanges to get a tight trade on. Right now, they sweeten the pot, open up an account. You get like $150 with those guys up to. That's in the link in the description. Last but not least, the ROI on your XRP. OMG, that is the highest grade level of institutional custody you could possibly ask for. Email me your name and number and a good time to call you. Emails in the description. Be leery of the imposters in this channel. Last but not least, I will be starting a Patreon group if you're interested. One of the things you can do as well, email me your name and number and a good time to call. Again, when you do that, we're going to be at $19.99 a month. And when you do sign up, you get 30 minutes of just if you want me to go over portfolio on the old-fashioned thing called phone. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go to some of the comments because I love the comments. It says this is from Ori Jurox or something along those lines. He says, Rob, we have the same targets. Rob, he says, thanks for the info and the excitement. Thank you. I'll go to at links to find a jar of XRP, a pint of XRP hopium every single day to find something that gets me bullish and excited, even on the reddest days that we have. And also in the comments, this is from Tanya. She says, I'm going with Jake Claver's $750 XRP price prediction by the end of the year. God is good. Yes. 100%. We'll see what that happens. So exciting, but yes. And then also in the comments, this is from Chicago Joe. I absolutely love this. Joe, you made my day. He says you should make a t-shirt that says champagne popping, island hopping, and yacht shopping. And you know, what a great, fantastic idea. And yes, I'm 100%, I'm going to do it. Thank you so much. And yes, yours is going to be free, Joe, when I get it. I absolutely love this idea. And also, you leave me inspired because I got to thinking, I said, how great would that be? We did have the first XRP proper party was going to be like 4 years ago. We had to cancel that one. I had my very first one back in March. We absolutely everybody seemed to have a great time, and I appreciate each and one of you that came out, as well as the speakers that were there. And then, but this next party, I'm waiting until XRP hits $10. I'm not even going to start planning it until that happens. And so is what I was going to do originally back in 2021. But B, when we have that, wouldn't that be beautiful on a t-shirt that it says, again, you know, champagne popping, island hopping, yacht shopping, the XRP 007 proper party 2026. How do you guys like the sound of that? I love that. So we'll see how things progress. Also, currently in the markets, we got Bitcoin trading at 87,000. It's flat on the 24-hour. XRP was been playing up in that too. I think, I'm not sure how high it went. It might have gone as high as 228. The other day, it was about 219. Last I checked, up about 3% on the 24-hour. And also, yes, just some of the breaking news. This is from Coin Bureau. It says, just how good is good when it comes to our XRP spot ETFs? Well, XRP just beat Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana for the ETF inflows for all-time high. Bitcoin led the previous at 150 million, XRP at 164 million, and the party's just getting started. That's only with 4. We got a lot more in the hopper. And yes, to think that by this Saturday, we should have all 9 XRP spot ETFs out. That is going to be great. And also, one of the people I've been following, like I said, when I did go out to XRP Vegas, I was so happy to meet so many different people, like Economic Ninja was there, and then I got to meet Brad Kimes with Digital Perspectives. Also finally got to meet DAI, and I didn't know if he followed my channel or not, but he did, and it was great to meet him in person. Like I said, he hails from up in, I believe, in the state of Georgia, and a big Braves fan. And I've been telling him when I saw him, I said, I've been trying to get you down here for an Atlanta Braves game, you know, take out DAI as well as his son, who looks like, I'm pretty sure, not if, but when he'll be pitching for the Braves. So I said, DAI, come on down here at the fish and a beer sandwich with you and your son's name on it. And also, I did a tweet up on my X. If you guys happen to follow DAI, if you would just send a little tweet to him, see if he can also help me get back my XR, you know, my new channel is now Rob007. If he could just make that announcement either on YouTube or on X, or both, preferably, that would be great. And also the CEO of Tucrium, you follow this guy? This guy is my favorite guy to watch on XRP right now. He gets me so excited. And just to paraphrase one of the last little interviews, he said that Ripple is about to eat JP Morgan's lunch. He said they don't even need JP Morgan, and they're about to replace him. I love the vision that he sees when it comes to Ripple and XRP. Franklin Templeton, by the way, they're also out there chiming in about the XRP and Ripple. He says, declared XRP, get this, to be the foundation of global finance. Listen up. Is there, we talk about the standard, the chosen one, Franklin Templeton saying the foundation of global finance. Caroline Pham up on X, and she actually has heads up the CFTC. For my quote of the day, 2 words, lock in. Sounds like somebody else that said lock in. I don't know, maybe Brad Garlinghouse, not a while back. And this is from Smoke Dog up on X. And this, for all the people, I want you guys to listen up when we talk about the ISO 222 standard. Yes, the old SWIFT standard was simply an IOU that goes from your doctor to your pharmacist, and it reads in that description, I got paid, did you? That's kind of what SWIFT was, is I got paid, did you, all the way along the food chain. And actually now with the ISO 222, it's still a messaging system with one exception. You can now attach rich data that is called XRP or other payments, and Smoke Dog providing documentation linking XRP to ISO 222 and SWIFT, I might add. This includes R3 Corda and their code base, which includes XRP payments and XRP settlement, putting XRP and SWIFT in the same system, and hence Ripple can technically connect and settle directly with any SWIFT-enabled institution via XRP Ledger. You heard it here on the Rob007 today. And your XRP ticket to freedom, to financial freedom might be the way. We're just waiting on one thing for your financial freedom ticket. And I tell you what, it makes me think about one thing, especially mornings, all the year long. They want you out, zero doubt. And how do they do that? It's through this thing called Father Time. So many things, and I'm going to go through the list because I kind of woke up madder than a hornet's nest this morning about the delays. 2025 almost coming to a conclusion. The tariffs, that's one of the biggest things that are hindering the entire global financial world. Waiting to see how that breaks either way. It's going to have huge implications either way when it comes to our judicial system, with the Supreme Court ruling on that. And then nothing will happen with the global economy until this is resolved. That sucks, and we'll just see when it happens. Nobody has a crystal ball when it is. So Supreme Court, indeed, holding up your Christmas. Also, guilty parties. Can you say the up in D.C.? The Clarity Act just moving at a snail's pace. Yeah, we heard some encouraging things that have come out between Scott Bessent, but it just feels like it's trudging through the mud. That Clarity Act, the effective date, that is your ticket to financial freedom when it becomes effective. That is my humble opinion, not financial advice. The flip the switch moment where the financial world embraces full blockchain and uses it for a use case for cross-border payments and other payments and large wholesale payments. So once that is actually approved, then they have, you know what, this has actually been, there's nothing holding them back with when it comes to legal clarity. Nothing will happen until then, unless of course we get a reverse carry trade. We'll be talking about that too. Jerome Powell, is he playing for the second year in a row, or how many years it's been, the Grinch that stole Christmas? Yes, again, December 10th is when we have rate cuts. Will we see a quarter, a zero, or half? Comment down below. I've seen a little bit of everything. A quarter, let's see what we get. And if it's zero, that's the Grinch who actually stole Christmas 100%. Next Monday, but this is also happens on Mondays when we turn that spigot on for the money printer that goes burr. So will it turn on as a drip flood, or would they just start to just kind of scale in that money printing? Comment down below. I want to know what you guys think. Is it a measured move, or they just turn that puppy on? And also, as we move on down, XRP spot ETF and that turkey trot by Brad Garlinghouse. Well, we just heard the numbers. They are looking really, really impressive. And, you know, and then it's tough to see that when we still see the price of XRP remain, I think it hit as 215 earlier. And just fully understand this is only temporary. And when you least expect it, XRP is going to make a parabolic exponential move. And fully understand this as well. I'll say it again, that the size and scope of the new financial institution money that is entering through spot ETFs dwarfs retails. And just remember that number we said, just with the other 8 ETFs, that they were 17,000% larger assets under management than the Canary Capital. Throw in BlackRock, could it happen? Yes. Then we're talking 160,000% larger than assets under management in Canary Capital, and already we have a record. And just remember, when this switch of retail, when all of OTC is gone, which is how ETF has to buy it, they're going to have to go to retail. That is when we'll see this again, parabolic exponential move, when we have a switch turned on and the XRP starts to be draining quicker than, I'm not sure, take an analogy, fill one than a sailboat sinking at sea. Exponential, yeah. And you know, expect that to happen when you least expect it. Just when you thought the price is never going to move, we're going to wake up and see that parabolic move. Swift, they had an update. 97% of banks are using ISO for messaging, and that means RTG, they are ready to go. And Clarity Act is the only thing we're sitting on our hands for when we can have that flip the switch moment, when they have legal clarity to say, okay, it's game on. Jake Claver, by the way, shout out to you, Jake, says, Ripple Institution, you know what, this is kind of neat. Do you realize that they own and hold 4.8 billion? He was sharing some really interesting stories, like when he first got started with Digital Ascension Group, they went to him and said, look, you know, we got about 30 million XRP or so, and do you want to have us, we can loan it to you? And they said, no, we got all that we need, because they had 4.8 billion. But then he talked about a lot of things that could potentially happen. He says the retail holding is that will not move price. They do not need your XRP. And he goes on to say, they don't care if a few people in XRP get rich. So anyway, that's kind of neat when you kind of think about the whole supply. Retail is pretty much insignificant. And keep in mind, as we start to hit targets at $5, $10, and $20, how many XRP holders are still going to be left in this space? Especially by the time you hit 50 and 100, 90, if not 99% of people are exited out of XRP. They just won't be able to resist. And then others, like many of you that follow my channel, we're here for 3, 4, and 5 digits. Yeah, and also ITM Trading. I'm loving their channel. They're from the Wall Street side of traditional economics and finance, talking about the bond market meltdown in Japan, hitting record highs. Japan goes nuclear, they go on to say, and the stability of the entire financial system rests on it, and that this, in essence, that there are tens of trillions of dollars all tied up into the Japan's potential reverse carry trade that could happen, and it will bleed over to other countries as well. And the way I look at it for now, when it comes to they want you out, it's kind of like delay of game. You know what? 15-yard penalty, lose it down, clock's down, wind the clock back down to 6 seconds left to go. And you know what? My mental game is, I have to, and I'll say it again, maybe for the third episode in a row, I literally have to have my mental game on correctly just to endure however long it takes. I will. So there's a part of me that says if we're $2 by the end of the year, so be it. I'm prepared for that. If we actually have to wait until now, I'll kind of give my drop dead till the end of June or end of July for that Clarity Act to actually be effective. I can't imagine it being any later than that because of midterm elections. I'm prepared for that. So I'm prepared either way, and I'm also prepared for the upside, and we'll be talking about that upside as well. And yes, the $2 XRP by the end of the year, if it is, so be it. I'm ready for it. But here's my realistic price predictions as we kind of wind up this episode. Conservatively, XRP, if it moves, it can do easily a 3x. So I'm going to paint it anywhere from $6 to a high of $7.50 by the end of the year, conservatively. But if we have other catalysts that start to happen, including the things we know about as well as that we don't, then we could start to hit some of those higher fib targets. And then I think I paint this whole area between 10, 15, and 20, even as high as $27 to $30 by the end of this year. And actually that's by December 31st. But wait for it. I actually think that these could hit potentially prior to them. Call it around December 18th. So that's really not too far off. We're talking about a little bit over 3 weeks away to go anywhere. We could be sitting at the basement at 2. I'm hoping we're between at least 6 and 750. If not, we are painting that what I'm really holding out for my beautiful coasting XRP money, which is a $20 XRP. And to end this episode, for the best for last, we're going to go back to Jake Claver talking about how we could get to that $90 XRP. And he kind of goes back over Kraken. We had that glitch that they went up to $91. He says what would enable that to happen is when they run out of XRP on the over the counter, then they go to the retail, and that would make the thin order books, and that there would be a gap up, and it could gap up within short order like it did on that day where XRP went all the way up to $91, and there you go. And so anyway, that's and so ETFs could be the catalyst for that, sending up upwards of a 3-digit XRP combined with other events that could happen. That sounds like a bigger boat, my name. But the Todd report, I'll kind of go back, would talk about running out XRP. Chad Steingraber says it could happen within 6 to 9 months. I'll go back to Todd at the Todd report saying that it could happen. I still believe he's on the side of saying we could run out of XRP before this year is out into 2025. And if we do see a reverse carry trade happen with our Japan in their economy, yes, that $100, $3 XRP is definitely on the cards, combined with those ETFs, I might add. But don't be surprised if you wake up in the morning and XRP is $1,000 and you're realizing it's time for a bigger boat. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.